construction jobs just rebounded 26,000 in March after hitting a record low in February. The Army Corps just awarded $1.86 billion in dam safety contracts in Southern California.
And Trimble just bought an AI startup that reviews construction contracts in minutes instead of days.
Yeah, exactly. This is Construction Market Intelligence for April 4th, 2026. Welcome to today's Deep Dive, everyone. I'm Justine.
And I'm Nicole. Happy Saturday, you guys.
So we have a really packed briefing today, and we're just going to jump right in. Today's mission is really unpacking the massive tension in the industry right now. We're seeing, huge federal money and mega projects crashing headfirst into this ongoing labor shortage.
Right. It's a structural vacuum at this point.
Exactly. And we are pulling all of today's insights from the Smart Business Automator Intelligence Briefing. So, Nicole, I kind of want to start with the positive headline here, right? The jobs rebound.
Yeah, let's start there because the Bureau of Labor Statistics just released the March numbers. And construction actually added 26,000 jobs.
Which is, it's a relief, right? Because an update from our coverage last month, we reported that the February hiring rate had dropped to the lowest on record.
Yeah, it dropped to 202,000 openings. That was down 28,000 month over month.
Right, so seeing 26,000 jobs added back in March sounds amazing. But I don't know, it kind of feels like bailing out a sinking ship with a thimble.
You are not wrong.
Yeah.
It's really important to contextualize this. Adding those jobs does not mean the labor market is suddenly healthy.
Right.
It basically just means February was an anomaly. Probably bad weather, short-term pauses. It wasn't the start of some catastrophic downward trend, but the baseline reality. We still have a structural shortage of over 500,000 unfilled positions.
500,000? That number hasn't budged. The structural shortage is identical.
Exactly. So, Moody's is still showing elevated recession odds. Oil is still really high. But this jobs data, it at least buys the industry a little bit of time to figure things out.
Buys us some breathing room. And I know Smart Business Automator tracks all this monthly employment data, and they specifically flag these regional hiring trends. Because the regional aspect is where this gets crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, contrast that 500,000 worker shortage with the demand we're seeing, like Meta's Hyperion campus.
Oh, wow, yeah. That project is staggering.
It's a $27 billion data center. $27 billion single phase in Richland Parish, Louisiana.
Which is, just to put that in perspective for you guys listening.
Yeah.
That is driving a massive regional power expansion all by itself. It's the single largest data center investment we have ever tracked.
Wait, bigger than the SoftBank Ohio project?
Yeah, because SoftBank was $37.5 billion, but that's multi-phase. That spans years. Meta is dropping $27 billion in one go.
That is insane. How do you even staff that? If the whole country is short 500,000 workers, how do you build a $27 billion site in Louisiana?
You basically cannibalize the surrounding states. When Meta needs thousands of electricians, they don't just find them hanging around locally. They offer massive per diems and pull talent from Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi.
Wow. So if you're a local GC in Arkansas trying to build a hospital, your crew just leaves.
Exactly. The labor pool doesn't grow. It just gets vacuumed up by whoever has the deepest pockets.
That is terrifying for local developers. But speaking of deep pockets, let's shift to the federal side because the stakes get even higher when we talk about old infrastructure.
Oh, yeah. The Army Corps of Engineers just dropped a massive award.
Right. $1.86 billion in dam safety contracts. And this went to Barnard Construction out of Bozeman, Montana. And I just have to pause because I love their origin story.
It is the best. Founded in 1975 with literally $1,000 and 2 shovels.
2 shovels. And now they are the #1 dam contractor in America, taking on almost $2 billion in federal contracts.
Talk about scaling a business. But the scope of what they're actually doing here is intense.
Yeah, so it's 2 contracts in Southern California. The first is Prado Dam, which was built in 1941. That one is $1.13 billion. And the second is Whittier Narrows Dam, built in 1957 for $735 million.
And we really need to highlight Whittier Narrows because back in 2016, that dam was classified as very high urgency.
Very high urgency, like at risk of failing.
Yes. If that dam fails, we are looking at catastrophic flooding across 25 cities. It would affect 1.1 million people.
Oh my God.
Yeah, between the two of them, these dams protect 2.5 million people and about $400 billion in infrastructure.
$400 billion. And they're working with concrete poured in the 1940s and 50s.
Exactly. And construction starts in spring 2027 and goes all the way to 2033.
But the craziest part,
They have to keep the dams operational the entire time.
right?
I mean, it's like trying to rebuild a car's transmission while driving 70 miles an hour down the highway. How do you even do that? With extreme risk management. I mean, you're building cofferdams to hold back water while you drill into 70-year-old bedrock. Unforeseen variables are basically guaranteed.
Which is why the government is paying a premium. This is all part of the IIJA, right? The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act.
Yep. They allocated billions nationally for dam safety, including about $585 million just in high-hazard rehab grants.
Man, and we see all of this flowing through the Smart Business Automator platform because they track these massive federal infrastructure contract awards.
It's such a critical data point right now.
It is. But, when you combine this missing workforce we talked about with these massive stakes fixing active dams, building $27 billion data centers, the system just fractures.
It does.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that cost is usually human.
Yeah. And with Safety Week coming up, we really have to talk about two recent tragedies that highlight why these protocols matter more than ever.
It's been a really tough week for the industry.
It has. A construction worker from Midwest Drywall actually died in a fall at the $300 million Wichita biomedical campus.
Such a tragic loss.
And then in Massachusetts, you have Reveille Construction facing a massive $4.6 million fine after a fatal trench collapse. So that's 2 fatalities in 1 week.
Right. We talk a lot about billions of dollars on this show, but it really comes down to a single worker in a trench.
It does. And I'm looking at that $4.6 million fine, and I'm wondering, are we hitting a tipping point? Is safety finally being treated as a literal existential financial threat to a company, not just a regulatory checkbox?
I think so. And it connects directly back to the labor shortage. When you're short 500,000 workers, you're rushing timelines. You're using greener, less experienced crews who might not spot a soil fissure in a trench.
Right, the veteran guys are spread too thin to supervise.
Exactly. And the market is reacting. Queries for construction safety software are up 450% right now.
450%. That's general contractors just panicking, trying to mitigate the human risk.
Because a single mistake with an inexperienced crew can end a business.
So they're turning to software to engineer out the human error, which actually bridges us perfectly to the big tech news of the week. Because it's not just safety software they're buying up, it's high-level AI.
Oh, the Trimble acquisition.
Yes. So Trimble just acquired Document Crunch. The deal was announced April 2nd, closing in Q2 or Q3 of 2026.
This is a huge move for Trimble.
It's massive. So Document Crunch, for those who don't know, is an AI-powered construction contract review startup, and their footprint is already wild. They're deployed on over 10,000 projects by over 500 GCs.
And the founder's background is super interesting, too. Josh Livy. He used to be a construction attorney at J.E. Dunn.
Oh, that makes so much sense. He actually knows the pain points.
Exactly. He raised over $37 million in VC, and now he's becoming the VP of Risk Management at Trimble. And they're going to integrate this into the TC1 suite.
Which is huge because the whole pitch here is speed. It cuts contract review time by 80%. We're talking days down to minutes.
But it's not just speed. The tech uses what they call agentic AI.
Right. And I was reading the Smart Business Automator contract intelligence brief on this, and agentic AI sounds like buzzword soup. What does that actually mean?
So instead of just flagging an issue like a digital spell checker, it actively acts. It pushes your contractual obligations directly into your project management and ERP workflows.
Wait, literally?
Yes. So if your contract says you need a soil test by Tuesday, the AI reads that, goes into your system, creates the task, and sets a deadline for the project manager.
Wow. So it's basically an incredibly aggressive digital lawyer putting sticky notes on your monitor.
Exactly. Because the stakes are so high. The average construction dispute right now costs $60.1 million.
$60 million.
And 81% of professionals experience contract issues on a project. So agentic AI is just removing human error from this incredibly complex process.
That makes total sense. And it really tracks with the other trend signals we're seeing this week. Smart Business Automator tracks emerging search trends, and the phrase Prefab Construction company just hit an emerging trend score of 80.
Which is the highest emerging trend score ever recorded.
Ever. And it's the exact same logic as the AI, right? Taking variables out of the field.
100%. Prefab moves the risk of weather and missing labor into a controlled factory. AI moves the risk of missing a contract clause into a controlled digital workflow. It's all about control.
We're also seeing J.E. Dunn Construction hitting a breakout score of 65. That's a 24,000% increase. They are trending hard.
Well, their former guy just sold Document Crunch to Trimble, so that makes sense.
True. And there's a big data center news cluster, too, scoring 65, with DPR, Mortensen, and Clune all trending.
Which ties right back to the $27 billion Meta project. The data center boom is just eating the market.
It really is. Okay, let's look at the actual calendar, because speak here of AI keeping you on track with the deadlines. We have some literal ticking clocks facing the industry right now.
Oh man, the deadlines this month are brutal.
Okay, first up, April 16th. That is 12 days away. Gateway Tunnel court date.
Right, massive implications for heavy civil contractors in the Northeast.
Then April 25th, 21 days away. This is the anti-DEI executive order compliance deadline.
This is a strict operational mandate. We aren't taking a side on the politics of it, but from a strictly business perspective, if you do federal work, you have to comply with this order right now.
Immediately. If your paperwork isn't certified by the 25th, you get locked out of federal bidding.
And we just talked about nearly $2 billion in damn contracts. You cannot afford to be locked out of the Army Corps pipeline.
Exactly. Okay, May 20th, 46 days away. Department of Energy Spark applications are due. That is $1.9 billion in apps.
Yep, massive grid modernization money.
And finally, the big one, September 30th, 179 days away. The IIJA officially expires.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard people call this the Y2K of infrastructure funding. What happens if this massive funding vehicle just stops?
It's a strategic choke point. If the IIJA expires and isn't renewed, the federal tap turns off. State-level matching funds vanish. Projects will freeze overnight. You have 179 days to diversify your backlog, or you're going to get caught in a massive trap.
That is sobering.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, it leaves me with this final thought for you guys listening. We have the IIJA expiring in half a year. We have agentic AI completely rewriting how contracts are executed. And we have 500,000 workers missing.
Yeah.
So when you look forward to 2030, will the most successful contractors look more like tech firms that just happen to pour concrete rather than traditional builders who use a little software?
A tech firm that happens to pour concrete? That is an incredibly provocative way to look at it. And honestly, it feels true.
It's the only way to scale with these constraints.
Right. Well, listen, if you know a contractor who is currently dealing with these massive federal compliance deadlines, or they are struggling with the labor crunch on a mega project, send them this deep dive right now so they are prepared.
Definitely.
And make sure you hit follow or like or subscribe on whatever app you're listening on so you don't miss tomorrow's intel. Finally, to see the intelligence platform that's actually driving all these insights, go check out Smart Business Automator at smartbusinessautomator.com. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.